Well, I'm a little embarrassed to say it's almost the end of July, and I am now filming my June wrap-up. No one ever said I was productive, okay? Hello and welcome to my June 2026 wrap-up. This month can really be defined by video games and comic books for me. That seems to be all I did. I barely read anything, I barely watched anything, I barely listened to anything. I am still trying to get back into the swing of things. I do not know why, but just like the spring took everything out of me. I was actually doing fairly good in my opinion, by my standards, of keeping up with stuff that I wanted to get done for home and this and work. But for whatever reason, like April and May and June even hit, and I just like was so fatigued. I did not want to do anything. It's July and I'm finally like getting back into the swing of things. So, but without any further ado, let's get started. First, as always, we are going to start with podcasts. I only have the one. It is Back to the Bar, hosted by Christy Lukasiak and Kelly Highland. This is a Dance Moms recap podcast where both Christy and Kelly will take turns going over each individual episode of Dance Moms, telling you what happened in the episode, also any behind the scenes information, and just stuff that they remember happening around that time frame that wasn't shown. The last episode that I listened to as of writing the script was when Brooke danced with the senior company, which is a very controversial episode, and it's actually not an episode you can watch anymore for reasons that they go over in the podcast. There was a person in this episode who was accused of, I don't know if he was convicted, but he was at least accused of very bad things. I'm not going to get into it here. You can find a bunch of videos of it online, but I did want to just get that out of the way. I mean, not much to say that's new about this, just business as usual, just listening to two best friends chit chat. It really does feel like you're part of their conversation, even if you don't obviously get to interact with them. This is like one of my favorite things to listen to. It just, I don't know, it just brings me so much joy. I listen to it on my car rides to work. I listen to it when I'm like cleaning stuff around my house. It's just so fun, and I laugh out loud all the time with it. Needless to say, 5 out of 5 stars. And then moving on, I do have one album that I listened to this month, and that was You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love, the third studio album by Olivia Rodrigo. This, and I did want to listen to the album a couple of times before I just put this statement out there, but I have listened to it a couple times and it has sat in my mind for a while. This is my favorite Olivia Rodrigo album. Quite possibly could be one of my favorite albums of all time. It's just so good. I like enjoy it so much, and even like the songs I don't like as much as others, there's not really a skip on this album for me. I haven't listened to the album as like a whole constantly and every day. I listened to it a couple times, but I listen to at least one of the songs every day. I did recently put my ranking of all the songs on TikTok, so if you do want to see my official ranking of all the songs, please go check it out. I am considering doing an album review for this album just because I love it so much. Spoiler for my TikTok, I guess. Some of my favorites are Maggots for Brains, Me Plus You Equals Heart, My Way, What's Wrong With Me, and Expectations. Those are like my top 5 favorite. And honestly, this album renewed my love for Olivia Rodrigo. I loved her Sour album when it came out, and then Guts came out, and it wasn't my favorite. I like some of the songs on Guts, but Guts just wasn't my favorite, and then we didn't hear anything from her in a while, and I was like, oh, maybe she's not Taylor Swift or Sabrina Carpenter for me. She's not an icon. I'll still like some of her music, but she's just not it for me. And then this album came out, and like this one like really solidified her in some like my pop girlies, you know? But like I said, I loved this album so much. It is getting a 5 out of 5. So then we move on to games, because I didn't watch any shows or movies this month. We have Pokemon X, Shiny Hunting for Fossils. I am currently at 510 encounters, and I'm doing hotel assignments every day I go to check in, so 4 out of 5. It's quick and easy. The hotel assignments aren't hard. And the fossils are actually pretty fast. I just haven't been doing them because I've been trying to focus on other hunts, like for instance, next up, Leaf Green Bulbasaur hunt. As of writing the script, I was at 950 resets. I do have a couple more, but I got those this month, so they will be in my next recap. I have mostly been doing the Bulbasaur hunt now when I am doing other work. So like if I have like a video I'm waiting to upload, that's when I'll do it. I'm not doing it constantly anymore, but just when I have time. 3 out of 5 stars. Next up, I have Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. This is actually a remake of the Harvest Moon game under the same title. I played this a lot when it first came out, and then I got past year 1 and just never touched it again, so I've been trying to slowly replay it again. It's really not catching my attention as much like when it first came out. I don't know if it was like hype for the game, but I just have not been really wanting to play it that much lately. It is a farming simulator, dating simulator, and the cool thing about this one is that as the years go on and on, your character actually ages, and when you eventually have a child, that child will also age. So there is like an end date. I don't know exactly how many years off the top of my head there are that you play through, but there is like an end date to the game. I am having a hard time getting the characters in Forget Me Not Valley though to like me. They all hate me, and I'm like, why? Why do you hate me? I've done nothing to you. I've like talked to everyone every day. I gave my favorites their gifts, and they still all hate me. And also, something that I kind of don't like about it is that like if you're not looking up tutorials and like walkthroughs and stuff like that, there is a lot that you can miss, or that like they won't introduce to you until it's like too late and you can't really do anything about it. So I really don't like that aspect of it. It does very much feel like a game for the old fans of the old game, and I never played the old game. 3 out of 5 stars. Then next up we have Sharkbait. This is a dating simulator where you date humanoid sharks. As you know, I'm like obsessed with this game, and I finally got the legendary route with GW, the great white shark, who y'all know I'm obsessed with. So I did finally get his legendary route, and I've been going back and forth about playing through again and trying to get other characters' legendary routes. The one I would do next would probably be Tiggy the tiger shark one, but it's still a debate for me. I can't commit quite yet to doing that. Plus, there are other games on the Dorian app in general that I kind of want to jump into and play. One of them we'll get onto later in this list because I did play a couple episodes. But I've just been like so consumed with this game lately that I want to venture out and do other games on the Dorian app just so I don't burn myself out on this game. Plus, there are other games in this universe. Again, we'll get to that in a minute, but there are other games in this universe that have like other characters that you kind of meet in Sharkbait. So that would kind of be like what I would want to do next, not replay. I did unlock some stuff, but then like for whatever reason, I don't know what happened, and I might have to contact the Dorian app about this, but like my Sharkbait game restarted itself. Like I still had my legendary ending with GW and all of like the bonus scenes I unlocked, but like some certain things I unlocked I couldn't get to anymore. And when I go to replay for fun, which is like just replaying episodes so you can like see what different choices got you, but it doesn't affect what you've already done so far, it starts me back at 0 affection with all of the guys, no matter like where in the story I was. So I'll have to contact them about that. I don't know. But this is like one of my favorite games ever. This is like my friends, this is one of the things that they begrudgingly listen to me talk about all the time. It is getting 4 out of 5 stars just because it deleted my progress for no reason, and I'm like, what the hell? So next up, I do have Pokopia because the Jirachi event just dropped as of writing the script. And I'm like very pissed off because I played every fucking day and I forgot to log in before the Jirachi left on the last day of the event because I had work in the morning. So I was like, oh, I'll log in when I get home. Jirachi was already gone. So I got everything except for Jirachi. And then I also found out I missed the fucking Stable Eye event. So hopefully they bring that one back next year. I do have Hoppip and Skiploom and Jumpluff, so we're good there. And I fully relapsed back into this game. I was playing it like every free second of my day that I could. Well, until I got into another game, which we'll get into later. But between this game and another game that I'll get into later, like I said, I was not, no reading got done except for like quick, like 5-minute bursts of reading, which is why I read so many comics. We'll get to that when I get into books, but yeah, like I was useless to the world this month because video games were taking over my life. And I did already buy the DLC, the 3-part DLC that's scheduled. The first part's supposed to come out in August, I believe. So soon, actually. So I do need to get some stuff done on my Pokopia Island. I want to finish out filling out my Pokedex. I do have some of the main story missions left to complete. But other than that, I just want to fill out my Pokedex. I don't know how I want to lay out my towns yet, so that's not like a main focus of me right now. And I'm getting really pissed off because like some Pokemon that I'm trying to fill out my Pokedex with and get all of my habitat decks done, they are being like little bitches to find. Like I cannot get them to show up at my camp at all whatsoever. And I will go every day to check the weather and like the time of day and whatever, and I can just never get them. But again, this is like one of my favorite games of all time, I believe. At least one of my favorite games that I've played so far this year. 5 out of 5 stars. Then we have Pokemon Champions. This is like an online multiplayer player against player Pokemon game where you're battling against other people. I don't know. I really only played the tutorial and I didn't like it. But I don't really like, this is gonna sound so like insane. I don't really like Pokemon for the battling. Like, battling's fine, I don't mind it, but I like Pokemon because I like the creatures. So, like, this just isn't really something I want to play. I just checked it out because I am such a bait Pokemon fan, as you guys know, so I just wanted to check it out so I can say I did, but it's not something I see myself returning to. 2 out of 5 stars. Then I have Sharkbait Riptide. This is the other Dorian and Sharkbait universe game that I was saying that would come up later. It's coming up now. This is a prequel actually to the Sharkbait series. So this takes place, I believe the creator said like around 150, 200 years before Sharkbait. And I've only played like a handful of episodes, so I'm not too into it, but the finale did just recently come out. So that's kind of what I was waiting for because I knew. Because when I started, I got to like episode 5 and I was looking it up and I saw that the creator posted that they're working on the final episode. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to wait until the final episode's out. So that way everything's out. I'll just play through it. And it's out now. So I do intend to play through it whenever I can. The Dorian games are really only games I play like if I'm on the go or whatever. They're not like sit at home and play games for me usually. Sometimes I do. But this follows the eventual villains of Sharkbait, so you get to see kind of their origin story and why they are causing problems in Sharkbait. The main romanceable ones in this are an orca, an otter, an eel, and a dolphin. There are always like side romanceable people, but those are like the 4 main romances. So far, and again, I'm just like on episode 5, but so far, I'm kind of liking the eel the most. I thought I was gonna like the dolphin, and then the dolphin like kind of was giving me creepy vibes and I didn't like him as much. But then I got like an episode with the eel, his name is Forrest, and I was like, oh, I kind of like this guy. Like, okay. Like, let's see about this. Because here's the thing, with Sharkbait, I went into it immediately knowing I was gonna just go all in on the Great White. This one, I thought I was gonna go all in on the dolphin. And now I'm kind of like, what if I go all in on the eel? And I'm an all or nothing type of girl. This game like encourages you to romance all of them. I'm not interested in that. I'm gonna romance one of them and the other ones can be friends. But from, like I said, I didn't play a lot of it. What I did play, I was really enjoying. I found interesting and different than Sharkbait. It didn't feel like a copy and pasted story whatsoever. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 stars, again, only because I haven't played as much of it yet. Then we have Pokemon Omega Ruby. I'm hatching eggs for my shiny Bulbasaur in this. I am currently at 305 eggs, but again, I haven't been focusing on this hunt a lot lately. Like, shiny hunting's kind of taken a back burner for me. In all aspects. I have also started going to Mystery Islands more because I think there's only like 1 Pokemon left from Mystery Islands that I don't have in my Pokedex. So I've been trying ruthlessly to find him and I cannot. I think it's Rufflet I'm looking for. And honestly, I'm gonna be honest, it is starting to piss me off that I cannot find this Rufflet. I've also been checking the lottery every day to see if I can get another Master Ball. I know that one is a lot more of a long shot, even though at this point it feels like I'll get the Master Ball before Rufflet. I just check every day because it can't hurt to check. And I keep debating, I keep going back and forth on this game because like part of me wants to go through and just complete the entire Pokedex, but then another part just is like, oh, but like I'll catch them when I catch them and it's not a big deal, I don't need to catch them all right now. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I'm just gonna like lazily complete the Pokedex. Obviously I can't find that fucking Rufflet, so it's gonna be a little hard, but 3 out of 5 stars. And then the final game that I played this month is a classic. It's an old one, but we haven't played it a lot yet this year, so Dead by Daylight has officially made its return into my life, arguably for the worse. I've already spent so much money in this game. I bought new characters and I bought some outfits for my characters. It's like an old friend coming back again, but also a very toxic relationship that I got back into, Dead by Daylight. And the reason I returned is because they recently had their 10th anniversary event, so I felt like I had to, and man, was it a mistake. Mainly, my main people I've been playing as this month, I usually change my mains every month, but this month, the ones I've been playing as mostly are Trickster if I'm playing Killer, and if I'm playing Survivor, I'm playing as Ada or Sable. And then I also did buy Hooked on You, which is a dating simulator for some characters in Dead by Daylight. They're all not in it, but some of them are. And then this one called The Casting of Frank Stone, which is like kind of like a story lore for Dead by Daylight. It has very bad reviews though, so I don't know if I'm gonna actually play it, but I got both for like dirt cheap, so I was just like, why the fuck not? But Dead by Daylight has completely taken over my life, along with Pokopia this month. 5 out of 5 stars. I hate that I love this game so much because it is not a good game for your mental health, but it's so addictive at the same time. So then the last category we have to go over is books. Like I said, I read a lot of comics this month, specifically single issue comics. As you guys know, I'm trying to slowly work my way through my single issue collection, and this month I read X-Men's issues 161 through 180. Not bad. Around 20 issues. I think 19 is actually the exact number. These collective issues were written by Chuck Austin, Chris Claremont, and Peter Milligan. And then the art was done by Salvador LaRocca and Roger Cruz. So this collection of single issue comics actually follow a couple of different story arcs within the X-Men. I'm not going to get into them because spoilers, but a lot of it has to do with the relationships between Rogue and Gambit, and then the like love triangle with Havoc, Polaris, and Iceman. This is before Iceman came out, I would like to add. And it has a lot to do with Mystique wanting to join the X-Men, Apocalypse coming back, so far, so forth. Oh, and I would like to add that some of these comics take place before M-Day, but some of them take place after M-Day. If you don't know, M-Day was when a bunch of mutants lost their power thanks to the Scarlet Witch. So we do see them dealing with the fallout of M-Day. I started off not really liking them and just trudging through them, but then some issues I really got behind and I was really enjoying it for a while. Certain story arcs I was like, oh okay, and then like it would fall off again and then it would get high again. So it's a lot of highs and lows, the X-Men comics for me. There are some that take place in space and I wasn't really into those ones, so. But overall, they're fun, they're easy to read. If you like the original like 90s cartoon or even X-Men 97, they're not terrible. Like, you could read these. It's also very obvious when you're reading them, like, what time period these took place in because of just certain things going on within the universe that they're constantly referencing, but also things outside of the universe are constantly referencing. You're like, okay, yes, I understand. This was the early 2000s. Overall, if I had to give this collection 19 a rating, I would give it 3 out of 5 stars. So next up, I have Bride of the Shark Clan. I'm sorry, sometimes I can't take myself seriously. I have Bride of the Shark Clan. This is a manga by Satomichi. I am so sorry, I'm pronouncing that wrong, definitely. This is yaoi. If you don't know what yaoi is, I'm not going to explain it here. And I wouldn't recommend Googling it. We'll figure it out. Let's use context clues as I'm describing what this is about to figure out what yaoi is. But basically what it follows is there's these 2 clans that live on this one island. One is like, they're more humanoid. They're basically human. The only reason I like hesitate to suggest that is because everyone in this clan is born male, and then after you like mate, we'll say for the first time, one of you gets reassigned as female. So I don't know what the biology behind that, but let's go with that. Like, okay, follow along, keep up. And then the other clan that lives on this island, first of all, there's males and females already born within this clan. And then, secondly, they are like half shark people, so like the shark game. That's kind of why I bought this, is because I played a lot of shark bait and I saw this one day and I was like, I have to. I felt like I had to. But every couple of years, I don't know what their clan names are, so I'm going to refer to them as the People Clan and the Shark Clan, just so it's a little easier to follow along. But every year, the People Clan hold a tournament, and like the ultimate winner of the tournament becomes the new clan leader. And they like basically have like first pick on who they want to mate with. And then the person who is like out of the tournament first ends up being given to the Shark Clan as a bride in order to like kind of keep the peace between the 2 clans. Mainly it's so the Shark Clan doesn't like attack them. But there's like a lot of rules within the People Clan. The big one in this one being that once a bride leaves the People Clan, they can never return, even to visit. So the actual story starts with the son of the current clan leader of the People Clan. He's out in the woods one day and he's hunting, and like he is the guy that like everyone thinks is going to win the tournament and be the new clan leader, but he runs across this random dude from the Shark Clan who like later turns out to be like the son of their leader, of course. But he runs across this dude and like something happens, they end up in a cave together, and they do end up like sleeping with each other, and the guy from the People Clan is like, fuck, like I have to marry him now because like it's gonna be revealed that we slept together if I don't marry him, and that could be very bad for our image, like my dad's image, basically. So the tournament ends and he ends up sacrificing himself as it's not really a sacrifice. Let me just say he's not really like suffering. But he, like, ends up giving himself up as the bride instead of the person who was supposed to go. Like, let's just be honest with what this is. This was just a quick, fun, easy read for me to kind of get me out of just constantly playing video games and actually reading something. And this manga, like, it does have, like, some heartwarming moments, but for the most part, it knows what it is. Kind of like Ice Planet Barbarians. Oh, you can't see it from here. But kind of like Ice Planet Barbarians, it is very self-aware about what it is, even during the emotional parts. But this was, like, very much needed for me because I just have not been wanting to read lately, and so reading something quick and easy and fun like this, it kind of got me back in the mood to read again, if I'm being honest. But yeah, again, overall, I really liked it. There's another like supplemental manga for this one coming out soon. I do have that one pre-ordered. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is Also About Alligators by Jonathan Rand. This is book 12 in the Michigan Chiller series. It follows 2 kids who like go fly fishing in their local river all the time, and one day they find alligators there. Obviously Michigan is not known for their alligators, so they're like, what the fuck? So they go and investigate, and hijinks ensue. And I will say, like, I know the Michigan Chillers that I read before this one was the Great Lakes Ghost Ship, and I remember I said I really, really would like that one. That one felt like such a breath of fresh air and different. This one was also different from the Michigan Chillers format, however, I didn't like this one. I don't know why, but this one just felt like it was a lot slower and not a lot happened. It was just personally hard for me to get through this one. I don't really know why. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. And then the last book I have is Sweet Temptation. This is by Bella Matthews. This is book 1 in her Love and Legacy series, and this actually is also a second generation series, and as you are reading it, it is blatantly obvious it is a second generation series. But this follows a girl who she is diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. She is moving back to her hometown. She was living abroad for a couple of years, but she is moving back to her hometown. It's a small town. And she is moving in with her brother and her brother's best friend who play for the same local football team. Her brother's best friend has secretly had like the hots for her forever. She kind of liked him too, not as much as he liked her though, but he's always stayed away because like, not because of her cystic fibrosis, but because he wanted her to focus on like her recovery and her treatment for her cystic fibrosis more than a relationship with him, if that makes sense. But it wasn't because she had cystic fibrosis, it's so he thought she should focus more on her treatment. So he's been kind of keeping his distance and being a playboy, because he thought it was best for her. However, when he like sees her again and he sees that she's like interested in dating and seeing other guys, he's like, oh fuck no, if she's gonna date anyone, she's gonna date me. So he's determined to like change her mind because she thinks he hates her, and that's not really the case. So he's like determined to show her like, bitch, I don't hate you. Quite the opposite, actually. This has years of pining in it. It's brother's best friend. It's chronic illness rep. I will say the cystic fibrosis. I don't personally have cystic fibrosis, so I can't speak to the representation. It's football. It's slight mafia ties, which again, like, this is a small town of like 200 people and there's a mafia family in it. Like, okay. I really, really loved the concept for this book, but the execution just was not there, fam. And not just the chronic illness rep for me. First of all, like I said, this is a second generation series, and you really feel that reading this, and not in a Legacy of Gods kind of way where you're like, oh, trying to pick apart like how all these characters are connected. No, you feel like you missed major story beats by not reading Bella Matthews' entire backlog before reading this one. It's quick and easy to read. I will give it that. Like, I flew through this book, but like a lot of stuff that was going on I wasn't fully grasping because I didn't have the backstories to these characters that they are constantly referencing, by the way. It's not like a one-off mention. And then it was just another instance of like, kind of like the Brit. I don't know if I ever reviewed the Brit on this channel. If I did, I'll like link the video, the wrap up it was in. But there was like an instance in the Brit where like she would write the characters, like she would describe them one way, but then they would act completely different. Kind of the case here too. Like Bella Matthews would write the characters one way and then they would act completely different, and I'm like, it was kind of hard to follow along. And then she would like bring up an actual conflict for them, like the girl going on a date, or like the guy's family not approving of him dating her or whatever. And I want to be clear, his family didn't approve of him dating her because they didn't think he was good enough to date her, and he said, and his family said that he was going to ruin their lives. Like, I fucking hated his family, so even though it's a second generation series, I have no interest in reading the other books by them, because she made the parents in these books so unlikable. I don't want to read about how they got their happily ever after. Like, all their conflict was resolved within a page. It wasn't really ever conflict. And like I said, the parents were so unlikable, it didn't do a good job of marketing her other books to me. So I had to give it a 2 out of 5 stars. But that is everything I read, watched, played, listened to in the month of June. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment if you heard anything in this video that you would like me to do its own video on, or if you have suggestions about what you want in a future wrap up. And then make sure to check out my TikTok and Instagram and Lemon8 for more consistent uploads.